This is a special presentation of EA Sports from the Coliseum in Oakland, our tribute to the coach, the John Madden Legacy Game. I'm Brandon Gaudin here to take you through the proceedings, and coming up, we're going to tell the story of a man who was truly larger than life and whose impact on the sport of football certainly is going to live on for decades and decades to come. Now, we've assembled a couple of rosters featuring some of Coach's favorite players from both yesterday and today, and Coach himself will be on the sidelines for both squads, try to motivate his guys to victory. Now, I'm joined now by my good friend Charles Davis. CD, your thoughts on John Madden and what he meant to the sport he loved so much?
For me, Brandon, it's the word joy. He brought that to the game of football, brought the game to so many people. He stayed involved his entire life. And moving forward, when you think of football, you're always going to think John Madden.
One time for old times. What do you say we play some football as we are underway from Oakland in the John Madden Legacy Game? And they'll let that one go as it skips through the back of the end zone for a touchback. So it's the NFC Stars who will get the ball first. And, Charles, as we alluded to, we've got a different era of coach on each sideline. So the man coaching this NFC squad, we'll call him Young John Madden, this is a coach who was trying to establish a foothold in the NFL and on the cusp of doing it very successfully.
Yeah, you think back to that period, those early days as the coach of the Raiders, the late 60s in the AFL, and then in the NFL in the early 70s. Coach was a guy who was ahead of his time. The Raiders were one of the first teams to have mini camps, one of the first to film practice, because he wanted to practice coaching as much as he could. And his teams, they were successful right from the start of his head coaching tenure.
On 1st and 10, it's Sanders. And right away, they're going to stack him up right at the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the game's first play, and it's second down now. So the three-time Pro Bowler Javon Curse with a tackle there.
And you get selected for that game because you are a consistently dominant performer, and that's what he is. We always think about him being a pass rusher, but he can play the run as well, a guy that you just have to game plan for every week.
And he'll be stopped up at the 26 after a gain of only a couple.
In order to play really good run defense when you're playing a 3-4, those three guys up front, the nose tackle and the guys they call the defensive ends, they're usually big people because they're going to have to eat up a lot of blockers because it's usually 5-on-3. And when they do their job well, guys who play on the inside, those inside linebackers, they will just roam and hit.
And they work this well upfield across the 45. Nice third down conversion and even 20 yards.
Sometimes those tip balls turn out to be like a pinball, just bounce all over the place. Everyone's got to go up and get it. In this case,
we talk about tip drills for defensive players like you, but what about the offensive guys? They do any tip drills?
I think they work on it as well, oftentimes in the Hail Mary situations because you're actually counting on a ball being tipped to give you an extra chance to catch it. They use that training well.
Running right, here's Sanders. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Tackle made there by the safety, Derwin James. Defense doing their job, really nowhere to run the football.
Yeah, it's almost textbook, wasn't it? Every place he tried to find an open spot, there just wasn't one. Congrats to the defense, no gain.
Call fitting your gaps, right?
I love it. You're exactly right.
Now Favre. Over the middle, that's hauled in by Cup. And a gain of 4 gets him right to the midfield stripe.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
On third down, they turn to Sanders. A little juke. Room here to run. And they're able to work this to the 25 before it's all said and done. 25 yards to pick up there and also a first down. You were telling me this yesterday. This is exactly what they want to do on the opening drive, establish the ground game.
Yeah, remember our conversation. We were talking about what one of the GMs in the league has told me repeatedly. It's a big man's game, and it's not necessarily size. He's talking about playing some big boy football. Line up, get leverage, knock people back, and establish the run early.
It's one play at a time, baby. Let's go get it now. Play a little aggressive, baby.
Right back to Sanders on first down. And he'll get it down inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2. The impressive opening drive continues, and just space being created by those guys up front.
We're seeing this the same way, aren't we? We are seeing an offensive line, as this game gets started, as it starts to unfold, that they are dominating the line of scrimmage.
Here's a throw out wide, complete to his running back right side. And he stopped after a gain of 1. Not enough. Still a yard to go on 3rd down.
Good reactions there defensively. That screen was a little slow in developing, and they shut that one down with little gain.
9th play coming up here on this drive. This is 3rd and a yard. To throw is Favre. And that's going to be caught. Touchdown NFC. Jerry Rice. A 16-yard touchdown. And the NFC takes it all the way down the field to score on their opening drive. Quite the drive there to get things started. They took up the bulk of the first quarter, and they end up in the end zone.
And I love your last point. Ended up in the end zone. Because a lot of teams like those long drives, especially to keep their offense off the field, right? Keep the ball away from them. But they finished it with a touchdown. That's the exclamation point. Now, flip it over defensively. They've got to slow that down somehow, right? Maybe they need to be a little more aggressive. Maybe a few more pressures towards the quarterback.
Extra point by Anderson, up and good. And that makes the score 7-0. Following the touchdown, here's Anderson to kick it away. This is taken just shy of the 10. And he won't quite make it to the 25. So, Charles, as mentioned, we've got another Coach Madden over here on the AFC sideline. Of course, his Raiders, members of the AFC West. So this is a conference he battled in for his entire career. And you think about the landscape of the NFL as he was getting into the back half of his tenure. It was a golden era for coaches. You had Don Shula, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, Bud Grant. But it was John Madden who had the best winning percentage of them all, CD. 759, the best ever.
Brandon, it's hard to believe he could be so successful in a conference with all those great teams. The Steelers won 4 Super Bowls. The Dolphins won 2 and were a mainstay in the playoffs. The Colts were tough. The Broncos came on late and went to a Super Bowl themselves. But against Hall of Fame coaches, John Madden's record, 36-16-2. That's pretty incredible. His Raiders were a factor each and every year.
And if there was a lane there, it closed up quickly as he stopped for no gain. 2nd down. 1 quarter in the books at the Coliseum. What a day. The NFC Stars with the early lead in the John Madden Legacy game on EA Sports. Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. Brady's throw into the hands of Gonzalez here. Finding room at midfield. And he'll be taken out of bounds all the way down near the 35-yard line. A big play there for the AFC. 41 yards.
And that might be exactly what they needed to wake up this home crowd. They haven't given them much to cheer for so far. And never underestimate the effect the home crowd with you can have on a game.
So that changes things a bit. Here's a 1st and 10 all the way down at the 35. Here's Allen. And he'll be taken down at the 34. They follow up that gigantic gain with the tiniest of pickups, 1 yard.
Yeah, things were pretty stacked up there in the middle of the line. A lot of bodies, not much space. I think ultimately he was fortunate to get anything out of that run.
The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. Now Brady on the bootleg. Complete, the tight end Kelsey. And they're going to move it down to inside the 25.
With every game, with every season, Travis Kelce, he just confirms his greatness. Streak of 1,000-yard seasons is now up to 6, and he's made 7 straight Pro Bowls, and his numbers have ranked him among the best tight ends to have ever played in the NFL. Another first down right there to add to his career total.
Now a give running left. It's Bettis. And they're going to stop him right at the line of scrimmage. Just no cutback lane to be found whatsoever. 2nd and 10.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10. Now Brady. And he's left with no option here but to throw it away.
Good coverage on the outside, and I think that's where he wanted to check that down to. But once he saw the danger over there, he just threw that one over everyone's head. Smart play.
Here comes the 7th play now of this drive as this is 3rd and 10. Brady. Gates with a grab. And he gets it all the way down inside the 10 and mark him at the 5. Hey, we want to let you know, give you a fair warning that coming up at halftime, the folks at EA Sports have put together a very nice package in tribute to Coach Madden. So make sure you stick around. Touchdown! Andre Reed, a 5-yard touchdown. And the AFC is an extra point away from tying this game up. Charles, here in their opening series, they said they had certain plays scripted for certain players. That looked like a well-designed play to get one of their top targets involved.
Yeah, let's face it, Brandon. A player of his talent is a problem for any opponent to defend, and we saw it right there. They tried to deny an open lane to him. He still outplayed the coverage and scored the early touchdown. Good luck trying to figure out how to defend him as this game moves on.
Vinatieri connecting on the extra point, and we are tied at 7. Each team's had it. Each team has scored. 7-7 here as the kick's away. Fielded right around the 8. And he'll be tackled just shy of the 25. The NFC offense coming out here. And you know, Charles, Coach Madden always said that if he had one drive to win a game, then he had to pick a quarterback, he would pick Kenny Stabler. But I think if you asked him to omit any of his Raiders players, there's a good chance the guy he'd select would be Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is always smiling. He's always laughing. He's always talking to someone. He remembers that it's a game. And if it's a game, you should have fun.
And Brandon, that always reminds me of a great movie line where one of the players was telling the coach, every time I say it's a game, you say it's a business. And every time I say it's a business, you say it's a game. With Coach, it was always a game.
On first down, Favre. Well, the pressure gets home, and the AFC comes up with a sack. It'll be a loss of 7 on the sack, and it brings up 2nd. And they weren't in zone coverage. They were in man, and each man did his job.
And that looked like vintage, old-school coverage, didn't it? Man coverage reminded me of an old Raiders team. They had a Hall of Famer at one corner and a Defensive Player of the Year at the other, and they just locked people down.
Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on second down. On the draw, here's Sanders. And they see right through that defensively as he'll be hit and taken down to the backfield.
Let's go do this thing, baby. Let's go. Guys ready to get it on right now?
And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game. Another run here with Sanders. Now the AFC going to take a timeout. It's their second as they'll stop it with exactly a minute to go before halftime. So on fourth down, here's the Australia native Mitch Wishnowsky to punt this one away. Back deep, two-time Pro Bowler Dante Hall. 51 yards on the punt there. And the AFC will take over 1st and 10. Now the AFC making their way out, and it's one of Coach's favorites, another local guy, Tom Brady, who will be at the controls. And boy, Coach always admired the way number 12 could run an offense, and especially his ability to stay calm under pressure.
Tom Brady is a guy who's always looking downfield. He never looks at the rush. He hangs in the pocket, and he makes a throw. He's a cool guy. He's a tough guy. Let me tell you, there's no one calmer in the pocket than Tom Brady.
And I know that Coach has a great appreciation for Tom Brady, who turned 45 back on August 3rd, because Coach coached a guy like him in George Blanda, who played a long time in the NFL. In this game, it features legends and active players. Tom Brady qualifies as both.
The drive starts with a run by Allen. He fights forward for a couple with a penalty flag down. And the linemen, they're already walking back. So not a lineman, but the tight end instead this time, drawing the holding call.
And more what you're getting with tight ends are guys who are much more receiver than blocker. They may be willing, but that might not be their thing. Oftentimes, they'll be the ones getting the penalties.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty. Now Brady. And he can't escape, and down he goes. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game. But found his way into the backfield, and he simply would not be denied.
Well, they say that life's all about opportunities, and that holds true when you're playing defense as well. How about him seeing that chance, making the most of it, did a great job of wrapping him up and bringing him down.
After the sack, oh, they're staring at a challenge basically from the other side of town. It's 2nd and a country mile. Another try after the first down sack. Brady. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
And this drive is almost over before it began thanks to a great defensive effort. Sack on first down, followed by an incompletion. One more good rep, and they get off the field.
He'll take the knee, and the final couple seconds will tick by in this. But coming up in the second half, we'll run through John's post-coaching triumphs. But for now, we present a very special tribute to the man of the hour, narrated by Trey Mosley.
What comes to mind when you hear the name Madden? Is it the coach who led the Raiders to their first Super Bowl victory? Perhaps it's the broadcaster who entertained millions of fans. Or maybe it's the video game known simply by his name. But no matter what comes to mind when you hear the name Madden, everyone thinks of one thing: football.
The core of it was football. It's the greatest game in the world.
The left goes to the right goes to the left. Madden is on the field. He wants to know if it's real. John Madden goes on the shoulders of his players.
In my mind, John Madden is the most important figure in the history of professional football. Show me somebody else who did it on 3 levels the way John did it. There's nobody.
Boy, Charles, yeah, that is really well done. Coach was something else, wasn't he?
I'm reminded what Al Davis said when he was inducted coach of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Brandon. He loved the game. He loved his team. He loved the Raiders. He loved this league. And you can see it with everything he does.
No doubt. But it's quite possible, though, that now he would say, hey, enough of that. Let's play some football. The second half forthcoming from Oakland. The AFC going to get the football first here as we are back underway from Oakland in the John Madden Legacy game. From the 10. And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return. Well, the AFC offense heading back out. You know, Charles, Coach really loved to utilize his tight ends in the passing game. You think about Dave Casper, Hall of Famer for those great Raider teams. And I think he saw a lot of Dave Casper in an all-Madden staple, Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez is the type of tight end I think everyone's looking for. He's a guy that can make some big plays from that tight end position. Let me tell you, you better make sure you have him accounted for on every play.
And that's exactly right, because Dave Casper, he could shred defenses down the middle of the field. And that's exactly what Tony Gonzalez did in his entire career. A 14-time Pro Bowl selection. Only Tom Brady has more. There's 6 guys in the 15,000-yard receiving club. He's the only tight end in there. Tony Gonzalez, every snap you had to know where he was because he could make plays short, medium, and long, and often put the ball in the end zone.
He was held without a catch in the first half, but he's got one here, and he also picks up a first down. If you're going to blitz, likely going to leave you in man coverage with this guy, and that is less than ideal.
It is, because just about any offense that has an elite receiver, if you blitz and have him in man coverage, you're going to him, even if he has an elite defender on him, because he usually knows where the ball is before the defender does.
Now a play fake. Brady. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. They pick up 12 on the play, and the chains move.
And what a nice example there of a tight end doing exactly what he needs to do. How about how he worked his way to the outside, made sure he secured the catch, and then anything after that, we count that as a bonus. And indeed, he gets enough for the first down.
So on the other side of the field now, it's 1st and 10 as they've got things rolling on this drive. A run right side, it's Bettis. And he'll fight forward on the straight-ahead running for just a couple of yards, 2nd down.
That's a good play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball. Held him to a gain of 2. And that changes the playbook a little bit now for the guy calling plays. 2nd and 8. Now he's got to probably think about going to the air instead of maybe staying with the ground game.
Now a first carry for their fullback. And he'll get inside the 40 to maybe the 38-yard line. give him 3 yards, and now they're left needing a conversion here on 3rd and 6.
And that was a good collision right there. And I know this as a former defender. If you're playing linebacker, you're going through a checklist on every play on who you think's going to get the ball, where you think the ball's going to go. Rarely do you expect the fullback position to get it. And on that play he did. So you got to steel yourself at that point because the contact is going to be strong.
Underneath to Allen. And they're going to work this down to about the 32-yard line.
Caught that look from you there, partner. I think we're on the same page on that one. Just his first catch. I think we both thought he'd be a little more active in the passing game. Let's see if that's the start of them trying to get the ball to him a little bit more here in the second half.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. They'll run with Allen. Able to slither by. That's a gain of 14.
Some big plays in the passing game on this drive, and here's one out of the running game. So the passing game loosening things up. Now there's room to roam.
Under a minute to go in this 3rd quarter as they come up 1st and 10. Into the red zone, it's Brady. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down.
This has certainly been a physical game so far. Limited scoring opportunities for both sides. And there's another chance that goes unfulfilled.
All right, go get them now. They got to walk that ball, baby.
3rd quarter, all tied up. This is 2nd and 10. Brady now to throw. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Allen. And he gets this inside the 10 to the 9. It's also a gain of 9.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
A field goal would get them the lead, but that's not what they're shooting for as they come up on 3rd down. On the toss, here's Allen. He lost a big chunk, 6 yards there, and it leads to 4th down. Three quarters have come and gone at the Coliseum in Oakland, all tied between the AFC and NFC, and we are set up for a battle to the finish. And we're back to the John Madden Legacy game after this. So here comes the trusty, battle-tested Adam Vinatieri for a big kick. This to break our 4th quarter tie. Vinatieri's kick is good, and they take the lead here now at 10-7. So he waited on the sideline for his first chance of the ball game, and it didn't come until the 4th quarter, but he connects there. A big one to give him the lead.
Boy, you talk about coming in cold. I don't care how many times you kick it into a net. You're not really ready when you go out there and all that beef is coming at you trying to block the kick. Big spot, and he delivers.
And after the made field goal, here's Adam Vinatieri to kick it away. Fielded right around the 8. And the tackle going to be made right there at the 25-yard line. The NFC heading back out. Hall of Famer Randy Moss a part of this offense. And Coach Madden, boy, he always appreciated the ferociousness with which number 84 attacked the football in the air.
As Randy Moss says, just chunk it up there, dog, and I'll go get it.
And, Coach, boy, did he ever go get it. Over 15,000 receiving yards, 156 touchdowns. And how about this? From his rookie year of 1998 until 2009, those were his prime seasons, right? He led the league in touchdowns 5 times, but even more so, he showed us all how to go up and get it. Great body control. No one's ever done it better playing the ball in the air.
And right side, they're going to go option here. And he'll be upended at the 28-yard line. Just a 3-yard gain there.
Anytime you decide to use your quarterback as a runner, most of the time when you design a play, you're expected to break a little bit bigger than this one, because when you run him on short gains, your risk-reward and him taking hits, I'm not sure that's the payoff they were looking for.
Up the middle they go with Sanders. Oh, what a move. 48 yards rushing now on 8 carries for him so far. I tell you, they didn't give it to him much for the first 3 quarters, but when they have, he's been efficient. Maybe they ride him more here down the stretch.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was actually in the game plan for him to have as few carries as he has, but it might play out really well for them now. As you noted, if they want to ride him down the stretch, he should have fresh legs.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Throwing is far. Complete to the tight end, Kittle, over the middle of the field. And a 6-yard gain gets him right around the 43. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball, because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling him almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
It's a 2nd down run with Sanders, and he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play that time, and they'll look to convert on what will be a 3rd and 4. This run defense has been pretty stout all game long. Now you're here in the 4th quarter. Should rely more on the passing attack?
I don't think you have any choice, and I don't think you have to dress it up at all either. Throughout the first 3 quarters, you're still trying to convince the defense that you may run the football. That's out the window right now. Protect, let your quarterback operate, and try and find some targets in the open field downfield.
Favre. And on the catch right side, this is Sanders. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. A very solid gain of 27.
And here we are in the 4th quarter, partner, and watch them drive for what would be a go-ahead touchdown. And you and I both know this is where you need a quarterback who can keep his cool back there. Not just for himself, but to keep the rest of the team relaxed too.
Favre's throw here hauled in by Kupp. And he'll be marked down at about the 26-yard line. Very sharp here to start this drive, 3 for 3.
Yeah, I like the way he's running this 2-minute drill. Very sharp, very precise in throwing the football.
Now they got to get to the line quickly. Back to throw. And that'll be incomplete. So he's unable to complete it there, and just not the game that you would expect from him. He's been off the mark really start to finish.
It makes you wonder what exactly is going on. Is he a little bit dinged up here, or is he just off just by a bit? Maybe he can get it back in this situation. He'll need to.
He's back to throw. Man open. Oh, no, he lost the football. And that's picked up by the AFC. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Well, that simply is a missed opportunity. They're in position. If they take the ball downfield and score, they've got a chance to win the game. Instead, they cough it up. I don't think next week at practice is going to be a whole lot of fun for him.
On the other side, no bigger time to force a turnover when you've got that small lead.
Yeah, and when you look at it from the offense's perspective, taking care of the ball is so important. I know they're going to have all kind of ball security drills in practice all next week.
The AFC offense set to take their next drive. And this game not quite in hand yet. We'll likely see all 3 timeouts defensively and then reassess where we are. And a nice gain there as he'll be taken down just shy of the 20. Now the NFC going to call the first of their 3 timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds left to go in the game. So they come up on second down. If they can get another run like we just saw, would likely put an end to this thing. Now a carry for Allen. And he's going to have to protect the football and take his lumps here at this stage of the game as they stop him behind the line. They'll need 5 on this play to move the sticks. To throw is Brady. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And it's scooped up by the NFC. And in for the score. Are you kidding me? They return it, and they take the lead. And that is a tough pill to swallow. All they had to do, Charles, keep the ball, work this clock.
The only way for the defense to win was to force the fumble. And they did. Took it the other way for a score. And now, if you're the offensive team, it will take a miracle, perhaps, to win this ball game.
Anderson on for the extra point. And that makes it 14-10. The scoop and score, always an exciting play in football, and we witnessed it there, grabbing it off the ground and then rumbling it into the end zone for 6. And you can bet they're preaching 2 hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return. This is taken just shy of the 10. And with a marker down, he's up just past the 25-yard line, but I think they're going to be going backwards. Let's check the call. So already not the best of kick returns there, but that penalty, that adds insult to injury and backs him up even closer to the goal line. Yeah, not ideal field position to begin a drive, is it? Because the extra pressure now goes on the offense. They've got to get some early yards and get away from the shadow of their own goalposts. What every offense wants to do in this situation, get 2 first downs to help out with field position at the least. Now Allen. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. Now the AFC going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop him with a little over 30 ticks to go in the football game. Back to throw, Brady. And that's complete to Brown. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. An explosive 38-yard pickup.
We always talk about the guy who paid off the play, don't we? The guy who caught it or ran it. But how about the elements that go into making a big play? This one in particular, able to scan the field. Pocket held up nicely. What a terrific job by the offensive line. The route, well run, and the football, right on the money.
So the line of scrimmage moves all the way across the 50 now as they come up 1st and 10. Now Brady. Yeah, he'll find Hall. And he'll go out of bounds after taking it a little further down inside the 40. That'll give them 8 that time, and they'll be left with 2nd and a couple.
Always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
Now the AFC going to take a timeout. It's their 2nd. As they stop it with 14 seconds to go in the game. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Brady to throw. Got a man. It's Brown. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. And whistles, and they take their final timeout with 7 seconds left. So the ball down to the 16 here for 1st and 10. He'll look to throw. Allen's got it complete. So it's a win here for the NFC. Just an incredible afternoon of football and remembering the life of John Madden. And before we go, one final message. And for all of us at EA Sports, this one's for you, Coach.
I just say this, I thank you all very much. This has been the sweetest ride of them all.